How's it going? Good morning. So, I have my manuscript here, and let's go through some of these first pages, okay? So, every page is going to have a opposite um, written form, and it's going to have the source of where it's come from. Eventually, I'm going to, probably in the next edition, I'm going to make sure that um, the writing here matches up with what's going on here, and it'll be color coded appropriately. I don't have the resources or the time to do that right now, but we I'll try my best going on in the future. I'm just trying to get the first edition done. So, wisdom of the crowd is most useful in binary choices or in quantitative decisions. All right, so what's going on here? What's going on is they found out that if you want to have a roughly accurate quantitative decision, so for example, how many jelly beans are there in the jar? If you ask a single individual, even someone with great spatial reasoning, they may be off. But if you take the aggregate of all the people, you may get the answer. Okay? And the aggregate choice will probably be correct. So, what are some applications? Some applications could be um, customer product surveys, workplace inventory management. How many of something should we have? How many workers do we need? Right? And very often, people in management positions don't consult with their subordinates, so it becomes somewhat of a problem. So again, there's many ways you can apply this. Um, you know, how many shovels do we have in the shed? There's too many to count, but if you're with a quick group of people, everyone takes a guess. You take the average of all those, it's probably going to be right. It's a phenomena of humanity, and there's actually been a few apps that have started that take this wisdom of the crowd concept. And if you think of the wisdom of the crowd, the aggregators of people, like we have Facebook or Google or any of the social media platforms, they aggregate what? They aggregate opinion. So they find the mean opinion to which it can be advertised to, right? And for those who are on the fringes, of course, they have their algorithm, so everyone's happy, right? But if they don't know who you are, they know to blast out the mean accepted content. The mean accepted content could be news or interesting blogs or funny videos. And you'll find that a certain type of video is sent out to almost everyone's news feed in regards to humor because it's generally accepted, right? So if targeting can't be done, then you are given the mean or the average. It's probably going to be the average, not the mean. Sorry, it's probably going to be the average accepted content. All right. Sorry, that's my electric toothbrush. Hold on. Yeah, I don't get it. My electric toothbrush goes off like that randomly sometimes. All right, so that's it for the first page. And I look forward to talking to you more about this. But you know what? I still got time before I have to go. So let's take a look. I'll just read off because I don't know what to comment. So I will not read my comments, but I'll read those of others. Okay, so crowd wisdom can exceed individual wisdom in some cases. Molly Fool Caps readers pick stocks better than many professionals. Business Models for Dummies by Jim Muehlhausen. Okay, let's just talk about the index. Okay, the S&P index or whatever index that you belong to, right? It's the aggregate of an economy. So if the economy is going to go up, then you can assume the stocks are going to go up. You don't need to pick the winners and the losers, just in the same way you don't need to pick the individual who is probably right or wrong in choosing the amount of jelly beans in the jar. So you take the aggregate of all these, okay? So I do agree with that. Here we go. There was, what is it called in that book? Random Walk Down Wall Street? I think that's what it's called. So in that book, Phil Fisher, yeah, I'm not sure. I forget the name. He compared throwing darts at a list of stocks posted up on corkboard, and where the monkey would actually throw a dart, and it was just as it outperformed some of the best stock pickers continuously. Why? Well, because the market is inefficient. It's not. It's proven to be completely irrational, and this there are outliers in individual stocks, but as the index, so the aggregate, the wisdom of the crowd, it's usually going in the right direction. So if this is getting a little bit deep on investing, but if you were to buy a stock individually, your ability to outperform the market is probably next to nil. Why? It's because the market is inefficient. So even if you do find a good company, the market may be paying attention to it, and for that very reason, it's not going to become an outlier, and it's just going to, just fall between the cracks. So if you just want to have a steady return, your probably best bet is at an index. But with things going on now, with all the indexes being so expensive, it's worth discussing other arguments in that regard. So, Politics by Aristotle. It is possible that there are many, though not individually good men, yet when they come together may be better, not individually but collectively, than those who are so, just as public dinners to which many contribute are better than those supplies at one man's cost. So, what you'll find is the variety in a what is it called, smorgasbord, potluck dinner where everyone comes in and brings theirs. You'll find very interesting ranges of food, and hopefully when people make their own food, not when they just buy it from the grocery store. So I totally agree with Aristotle here in that regard, and it's fundamental to our capitalist lifestyles. We want choice, and going to a potluck, there's the explore and exploit model, you get to explore all the different types of foods, and then you would get to exploit the one you want, because maybe not everybody wants that one. But very often when people do find something good, they exploit it, and very often you'll find dishes that are cleaned out in seconds flat. Well, not seconds flat, but in a short while. And you'll see other ones that still remain. Groups that are too much alike find it harder to keep learning because each member is bringing less and less new information to the table. Homogeneous groups are great at doing what they do well, but they become progressively less able to investigate alternatives. Yeah. So you don't have a crowd, right? You just basically have carbon copies of each individual. Are they individuals anymore? So if you wish to make better decisions, okay, maybe you should have the decisions split up amongst, well, not split up, but have the pool of candidates or people who are contributing to decision making to be from various backgrounds, right? So if you are a Fortune 500 and you have only lawyers from the Midwest in their late 60s making decisions, perhaps you should reconsider that and maybe bring someone on the board who might be a little bit more fresh, to bring a little bit a mix or an influence into the decision that may be more forward thinking. And that can be in any council meeting, that could be for any political type environment. So I have to go. I see that I'm done, so I'll catch up with you later. Take care. Bye bye.